Today, we're going to teach you the basics of how you defend. And I know, defending doesn't sound anywhere near as sexy as how to score top corner bangers. I know that. But once you understand the basics of defending, it might actually improve your game a lot more than you'd think. So today we're going to take a look at your defensive stance, when to tackle or contain, and of course, communication. Also remember that if you like the Adidas Super Spectral boots and you want to cop a pair, you can buy it via the link over there or in the description. The first thing you need to learn is your defensive stance. So basically how you position your body when there's an attacker coming towards you with the ball. Now here, you actually want to angle your body a little bit towards the attacker, because instead of just standing up straight, you're going to suffer a little bit on your balance and you're not able to change direction as quickly. If you want to change direction, what do? Well, you angle your body, you go down in your knees and onto your toes. And that gives you the advantage that you'll be able to contain the attacker, and when he or she changes direction, you can do the same thing and actually guide them in the direction you want them to go. Once you then have the stance on lock, you want to try and make sure that you push the attacker away from the dangerous areas, which would typically be the goal. So, if you're facing the attacker, you go down in your stance, and then you face him like this, trying to let him on the outside. How do you do that? Well, if I'm standing like this, Phil knows that if he's cutting inside, I'm ready to follow him, go in and take the ball. He also knows that if he goes on my left, well, I have to change direction, which will take me a little bit longer. So this is a way of letting Phil outside where he's at least a little less dangerous. Now, this is what you want to try and do. Contain, show them outside, so you have the initiative. Now, whatever you do, do not spin around away from the ball, and also don't just lunge for the ball. Try and stay on your feet for as long as possible, because the second you take one of your feet off the ground is the second you lose the ability to change direction. So once you do that, if the attacker is any good, you're there for the taking and you've lost. But of course, you can't contain them around like a sheep herder all day, so at some point you'll need to make a move and go for the tackle. What's really important here, apart from timing, is of course that you don't just blindly rush into the tackle, because that takes all the momentum and initiative away from you as the defender, and you're going to be really easy to dribble around. Now what you need to wait for is for the attacker to make a move. So basically, you need to find the right timing of when to pounce. So, it can be a little bit hard to spot, but you'll learn it eventually. When they take the touch, and they then put their foot down into the ground again. That's when they're vulnerable, because their weight goes down in the ground and they can't react as quickly. The other thing I want to touch on is when to tackle, because when you go in for a tackle, you take a risk. And if you risk selling the entire team if you miss the tackle, you might want to consider simply containing. Of course, sometimes you just need to go for it. Hail Mary. Just keep in mind, stay on your feet, because tackling means taking a risk. Finally, you need to communicate. I can't stress just how important communication is when you're defending. A good defense is a defense that works like a unit. How do you do that? Well, you communicate. So, first up, communication to you. When you're defending, you need to listen to the players behind you. They can see what's going on, you can't. So if you're containing, they need to tell you if you should let Phil on the outside, on the inside, if you should push up, or if you should fall back. And if they don't tell you anything, well, you need to let them know in no uncertain terms that they need to start to speak up. Now, of course, if you don't want to get pushed in the chest by an angry teammate, you also have the responsibility to help your team by communicating. So let's say we're defending, I'm marking Phil, but all of a sudden he makes a run towards the center of the defense to go deep. Then I need to let Jeff know that I've let go of Philip and that he should take over. Then if he's marking two people, he should let the defender next to him know to take over, and so forth. So you need to talk the attackers through the defense so everyone knows what they're doing and where the dangers are. And as a rule of thumb, you should always talk to the player in front of you, because you can see what's going on and they can't. And just remember this, even though you're terrible at tackling, you can actually contribute a lot to your team's defending by simply communicating and having an overview so you can organize. To sum it up, get your stance right, down in your knees, on your toes. find the right time of when to tackle and contain, and start communicating with your teammates. And I'm pretty sure that if you do those things, you'll see that your defensive contribution is going to improve just like that. But guys, what do you want to see next? Let us know in the comment section right down below. And remember that if you dig the Adidas Super Spectral Pack, you can buy it from the link to Unisport right over there. But not, of course, before you've made sure that you've subscribed to the channel with the notifications on. And with those words, guys, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.